This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(1:15 p.m.) This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The head of state instructs the cabinet to cut down unnecessary state expenses to curtail the soaring high cost of living. The Pfizer vaccination program for children with comorbidities will continue to be administered across 5 districts in the island today. All new infections linked to the New Year cluster pushed the overall tally. The Chief of Staff of the Indian Army, General Naravani, to arrive in the island today. Lanka Sathusa makes a profit after 7 years. A draft bill to be prepared to introduce cyber protection laws. The retirement age for private sector employees to be increased to 60. International news. The UN General Secretary slams broken Taliban promises made to women and girls. Sports cricket, the SLBC to consider ending domestic cricket ban for the cricketers who breached the biosecure bubble during the tour of England. Local news in detail now. The President Gotabaya Rajapaksa instructed his cabinet to cut down on all state expenses, including unnecessary fleet of vehicles being used by ministries as the government attempts to curtail the soaring cost of basic items. The President further instructed the Minister of Energy, Udaya Ganmanpila, that he would not permit a fuel price increase despite the world oil prices rising and asked for an alternative way to overcome the crisis. President Rajapaksa also instructed the Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa to find alternative solutions to the rising prices of essential items, urging him to provide relief to the citizens as soon as possible. COVID-19 vaccination clinics operated by the Ministry of Health are conducted in many areas across the island today. Meanwhile, 97,166 individuals were administered vaccine doses against the coronavirus yesterday. Accordingly, 12,480,870 individuals have been fully vaccinated in Sri Lanka, while a total of 27,197,582 vaccine doses have been administered in the country. Furthermore, the Pfizer vaccination program for children with comorbidities will continue to be administered across 5 districts: Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Kegol and Putlam. For more details on vaccination clinics operating in your local area and the type of vaccines administered can be obtained by visiting the official website of the Health Ministry, www.health.gov.lk. 681 COVID-19 cases were identified in the country yesterday, increasing the island's coronavirus case load to 527,064. All new infections were linked to the New Year cluster. 402 individuals recovered and were discharged during the past 24 hours, raising recoveries to 480,499. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said 33,354 persons are currently receiving treatment for the coronavirus at several facilities. Meanwhile, 23 individuals succumbed to the coronavirus, raising Sri Lanka's virtual virus death toll to 13,354. The Indian Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Naravani will arrive in Sri Lanka today on a 5-day goodwill visit on the invitation of Sri Lankan counterpart Commander of the Army, General Shavindra Silva. During his visit, General Naravani is expected to call on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Tomorrow and on Thursday, he will witness the final demonstration of the ongoing bilateral exercise Mitra Shakti at Madru Special Forces Training School in the east. India and Sri Lanka last week commenced a 12-day mega military exercise with a focus on enhancing counter-terror cooperation at the Combat Training School in Ampara. General Naravani, who will lead a 5-member delegation, is expected to pay floral tributes to the Indian peacekeeping force war heroes at the monument. He said he had served in the IPKF in Sri Lanka's north and east from 1987 to 1990. The government has decided to prepare a draft bill to introduce cyber protection laws. The Cabinet has granted approval to draft the Defence Cyber Commands Bill Act. The government noted that terrorist groups and criminals have begun using cyberspace and electronic communications for terrorist activities, organised crimes and antisocial activities. Electronic communication across cyberspace has been recognised as a crucial factor that can directly affect national security. The government said it has been vital to formulate new laws covering all sectors to ensure national security. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval for the proposed draft bill submitted by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa as the Minister of Defence and the Minister of Technology. The Government Information Department announced the Cabinet of Ministers has given approval to the draft bill to be presented to the Parliament by Labour Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva to extend the retirement age of private sector employees to 60 years. On March 23, 2021, the Cabinet granted the approval to prepare a bill to amend the existing minimum age limit for the retirement of private sector employees. The bill, prepared accordingly, was further discussed with the participation of all relevant parties in the committee to study on policy and legal matters affecting the business sector, chaired by the Prime Minister. The bill includes the provision to extend the retirement age to 60 years with respect to employees who have not attained the age of 52 on the effective date of the proposed Act, and in the case of employees who are aged 52 or above on the effective date of the proposed Act, to employ them under 3 age groups up to a maximum age of 59 years. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking.
The government today asserted that the ban on the import of fertilizer from a Chinese company is not a diplomatic issue. The cabinet spokesman Dallas Alhaparuma told reporters today that the decision to ban the import of organic fertilizer from a Chinese company can be appealed. However, he said the matter involves the health and safety of Sri Lankans and should not be seen as a diplomatic issue. The minister also noted that attempts should not be made to make the fertilizer issue an issue between China and India. Litro Gas has reduced the price of gas by a small margin after earlier announcing a sharp increase. The company said that the price of a 12.5 kilogram domestic LP gas cylinder has been reduced by 75 rupees and the new price of a 12.5 kilogram cylinder is now 2,675 rupees. Litro also said that the price of a 5 kilogram cylinder has been reduced by 30 rupees and the new price will be 1,071 rupees, while a 2.5 kilogram cylinder has been reduced by 14 rupees and the new price will be 506 rupees. And that ends local news for now.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Minister of Trade, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, says Sri Lanka's largest state-owned retail chain, Lanka Satasa, which was reporting a loss of over 100 million rupees every month, has become profitable after 7 years. The loss-making Lanka Satasa has recorded a total revenue of 30 billion rupees for the 9 months from January to September 2021. The Trade Minister added Lanka Satasa recorded a revenue of 4 billion rupees last September alone. The Minister noted that for the first time in the history of Lanka Satasa, the highest sales in a month was recorded last September, and this sale, which was 4 billion rupees, was the highest sales ever recorded. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight.
Sri Lanka is likely to see the national rollout of the digital identity next year, providing every citizen with a unique identification, potentially ending the endless time waste and hassles the citizenry and businesses undergo in their everyday dealings with the government and other service providers. The ID will be unique and secured in respect of one's personal data to build the utmost confidence in the system for making use of it for all virtual transactions and dealings without being present in person or having to present physical documents. It is believed that the digital ID, together with the digital signature, would further convenience the public and businesses alike to operate remotely and virtually in a seamless manner. And that was Watchlight.
World News.
In the headlines, the UN chief slams broken Taliban promises made to women and girls. The North Korean leader says Pyongyang is only increasing its military as war deterrence and not to start a conflict. Beitar residents reach lands for the first time since Israeli settlers took over. World News in detail now. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has slammed the Taliban's broken promises to Afghan women and girls and urged the world to inject cash into Afghanistan in order to prevent its economic collapse. Millions of teenage girls across Afghanistan still await to return to school, while the Taliban allowed boys to attend classes last month. The move has raised concerns about the future of the female education under the Taliban, who have pledged to uphold the rights of girls and women in the country when they took over power in August. The exclusion of girls at this time has aggravated fears that the Taliban could be returning to their hardline rule of the 1990s. During that time, women and girls were legally barred from education and employment. The UN Secretary-General appealed to the Taliban to keep their promises to women and girls and fulfill their obligations under international human rights and humanitarian law. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has said his country's weapons development is necessary in the face of hostile policies from the United States and a military build-up in South Korea that is destabilizing peninsula. Kim said in a speech at the Defense Development Exhibition Pyongyang was only increasing its military in self-defense and not to start a war. Kim made the remarks standing in front of a variety of weapons, including a Hwasong-16 intercontinental ballistic missile. For the first time since it was taken over by Israeli settlers, hundreds of Palestinians from the besieged village managed to reach their confiscated land. With the start of the olive harvest season in Palestine, residents and landowners of Beitar headed to the peak of Jabal Sabih or Mount Sabih on Sunday to pick their crops, expecting to be blocked by the Israeli army. The area has been the site of the illegal Israeli outpost of Evita, where earlier this year dozens of settlers set up up caravans under the protection of the Israeli military. The Palestinians' families made it to the edges of their land some 60 meters away from the settler outpost as Israeli soldiers stood guard. Back to the headlines of the world news. The UN chief slams broken Taliban promises made to women and girls. The North Korean leader says Pyongyang is only increasing its military as war deterrence and not to start a conflict. Beta residents reached lands for the first time since Israeli settlers took over. And that ends World News.
And now in development news.
The widening and development of the Palapatwala-Galewala B 346 road under the 100,000-kilometer road development program commenced in Palapatwala recently under the patronage of the Minister of Highways, Johnston Fernando. The widening and developing of the 30.75-kilometer road is expected to cost 3,552 million rupees and is scheduled to be completed within 12 months. This road will be widened and developed under the direct supervision of the Road Development Authority. Under the 100,000-kilometer road development program, 670 roads in the Mathlia district are to be developed. And that was development news.
Sports news.
Cricket news, a partial reduction of the blanket ban handed to Kusal Mendis, Niroshan Dikpal and Danushka Gunatilaka for breaching the biosecure bubble during the tour of England in July this year will be determined by the Sri Lanka Cricket Management Committee today. The 6-month domestic ban will end on December 28th, which is after the Club 50 over tournament and the LPL. However, there will be no change to the international cricket ban or a reduction in the fine that was imposed on them. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U-Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Dialog Broadband Networks Private Limited, a fully owned subsidiary of Dialog Axiata PLC, Sri Lanka's premier connectivity provider, introduced exclusive home broadband postpaid data packages for the government sector employees in appreciation of their continued and unwavering service to the nation. This exclusive offer comprises of a range of lower-priced postpaid packages starting from 600 rupees to 9,900 rupees. Also, when a Dialog home broadband router is purchased, a special discount is also offered with this special package. Government sector employees can purchase home broadband connections from Dialog experience centers and authorized retailers island-wide and avail this offer by providing their government ID or salary slip. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has given up the plan to buy back international sovereign bonds maturing in 2022 quoted at discounted prices, since the volumes are not available for purchase as investors prefer to hold the ISBs. Issuing a statement, the Central Bank said the bank's initiative to proceed with the buyback of the 2022 ISBs will not yield a successful outcome given the appetite of ISB holders to hold the GOSL ISBs. As per the 6-month roadmap for ensuring macroeconomic and financial system stability presented by the Central Bank on the 1st of October, the international sovereign bond exposure is to be gradually reduced to around 10% of gross domestic product over the next 3 years. And that was economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thundershowers to occur at times in the Sabaragamu and central provinces. The Met Department predicts several spells of showers in the western, northwestern and northern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. In the meantime, showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the eastern and Uva provinces during the afternoon or at night. Wind speed can increase up to 50 km per hour at times in the western slope of the Central Hills, northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Sea areas. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the sea areas extending from Kankasanture to Hambantota via Putlam, Colombo and Galle. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the other sea areas around the island. And that was the weather report. To end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. The head of state instructs the cabinet to cut down unnecessary state expenses to curtail the soaring high costs of living. The Pfizer vaccination program for children with comorbidities will continue to be administered across 5 districts in the island today. All new infections linked to the New Year cluster push the overall tally. The Chief of Staff of the Indian Army, General Naravani, to arrive in the island today. Lanka Satusa makes a profit after 7 years. A draft bill to be prepared to introduce cyber protection laws. The retirement age for private sector employees to be increased to 60. International news, the UN General Secretary slams broken Taliban promises made to women and girls. Sports news, cricket. The SLC to consider ending domestic cricket ban for the cricketers who breached the biosecure bubble during the tour of England. And with that, we end this news broadcast.